Welcome to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We are talking about lead follow-up today. I'm going to give you the exact steps for the most effective system, process, whatever you want to call it, to following up with your leads based on what kind of leads they are. There's a big difference here, and we're going to really break this down. But fundamentally, we have to start here, right? Real estate investing breaks down into three parts, and each of those three parts have their own three parts. Now, we talk about lead generation a tremendous amount on this channel because it truly is the engine of our business, all right? Nothing else matters but having conversations and making offers. And that's what lead generation is. Lead generation is just having quality conversations with property owners that, and this is the most important thing to remember about leads, we have conversations with property owners that have made the decision they're going to sell their property. That's what a lead is. So I need you to go back to all of the people that you've talked to, all of the notes that you've had, all of the leads that you have in your CRM or pipeline, and make sure that they have already made the decision they're going to sell their property. That is fundamental, because the fact is we are deal finders, not deal creators. We're not going to go through this long-term relationship building, rapport building, and going to convince somebody that they should sell their property. That's not what we do. That's not what the pros do. We need to be clean. We need to be efficient. We need to be speaking with and following up with and putting our attention on the people that have made the decision that they're going to sell their property. Fundamental. That is what a lead is. If you have any question of what a lead is somebody that they're going to sign a document transferring title to somebody else. Okay. Now I want you to pay attention to the orange section here. This is the conversion section of our business. This is the real skills-based part of our business. All right. If I were to say, where is the 80-20, the Pareto principle in our business, the 80% is in the conversion. Now, that might sound a little bit wacky considering that lead generation is so critically important, and without leads, nothing happens. But the lead generation truly isn't the toughest part. Lead generation, going out and finding people that have made the decision that they're going to sell their property, is not the hardest part. The hardest part is working with them, doing the lead follow-up, pre-qualifying them, and giving them an offer presentation. All right. Now, remember the pre-qualifying of every single lead to see if they've made the decision that they're going to sell their property and see if there's the potential that they're going to do business with you comes down to four factors. And you know it. You know, you beautiful real estate entrepreneurs. It's the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation to sell that property, and the price that they want. That's what we are pulling out of every single property owner every single time. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Now, a lot of people have their opinions on it. My opinion is go in that order. When you ask about the condition of a property, it opens up the conversation. The longer that you can speak to a property owner, the more that the force field is going to melt, and the more that they're going to be honest with you about whether or not they have a problem, whether or not they want to trade price for speed and convenience. When they want to trade price for speed and convenience, you know it, I know it, that's a cash as is offer. That is a wholesale deal, baby. That is what really grows. That's our ATM machine. That's our cash machine that gives us a big, healthy, heavy bank account to go on to other exit strategies like buying and holding, buying and flipping, right? But as we're getting started, as we're young in our real estate business, we need to grow it with some cash. We get that cash fast through assignments, through wholesaling those deals. All right. But we need to discover through pre-qualifying how we're going to follow up with this lead. It's absolutely critical. All right. Next, with your lead follow-up, Here's the lead follow. Let me give you a couple other things here. Look at this. This is the absolute. This is the facts. I don't know why I'm saying absolute so much. I'm pumped up today. All right. Sales follow-up statistics. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% on the second, 5% third, 10% on the fourth, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. And you know what I love? I love the bottom section of this even more, because we always talk about, oh, the competition, wholesaling so saturated, or real estate investing so saturated. 48% of people don't even follow up with the prospect after talking to them for the first time. 48%. And then of the 52%, of the 48% that actually do follow up, only 25% do it twice. And then only 12% do it more than 3 times. You have to be relentless. You will lose way more deals from lack of follow-up than you will lose from excess follow-up. It's the absolute fact. Let people know that you're going to over-communicate with them. Let them know that the number one complaint, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the number one complaint in the real estate industry is a lack of communication. So with your permission, I'd like to over-communicate with you so that we never have to worry about that, so that I can make this as smooth of a process as possible. Is that fair? Yes. Will you be honest with me and tell me if I'm communicating too much? Yes. That's the conversation that we need to have. Isn't that crazy? 2% of sales are made in the first contact. Absolutely bananas. Absolutely bananas. Let's go to the board, because I want to break something down with you guys. Now, this is the tough part about lead follow-up. This is the tough part about growing your business in the beginning, is this first 90 days. This is hell week. This is boot camp. This is make it or break it. This first 90 days is going to challenge you more than anything ever has. Okay? I am telling you, I have coached Olympic gold medalists. I have coached people that have done multiple Ironmans. I have coached people that are in the NFL Hall of Fame. I have coached people that are doctors, attorneys, CEOs of really big businesses about wholesaling real estate and building a portfolio. And they will all, to the letter, say that this was the toughest thing that they've had to do mentally. Isn't that crazy? We need to prepare ourselves for a 90-day fist fight with our own brain, because our own brain betrays us sometimes. Our own brain creeps in and says certain things like, oh, no, this doesn't work. Oh, no, maybe you should switch tracks and try this other thing. Oh, no, there's an easier way to do this. There's not. For your first 90 days, you need to be building up your pipeline of opportunities. All right? And so that means, one, yeah, you're generating those leads, but then you're doing the lead follow-up every single day as well. All right? It's not just going out and hunting. There's no sense in hunting for all of these opportunities, spending all this time and money and effort and attention getting all of these leads and not following up with them. Do you know why we don't follow up with leads during this section? It's very simple. Because we're generating leads so much, and we're hoarding these leads. Anybody that's nice to us, we keep in our little CRM. We're like, oh yes, I've got this lead. I feel so good about this. Somebody's being nice to me. They're not rejecting me. Oh, I'm having a good conversation with the property owner. I'm going to keep these leads. But if they haven't made the decision to sell, throw them away. Bad leads hide the best leads. Remember that. Bad leads hide the best leads. Having a bunch of leads doesn't get you paid. It actually slows you down. It like pours molasses all over your business, because you feel comfortable. You're like, oh, okay, I've got all these leads. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to convert them at some point when they're ready. Our job is to shorten the timeline for them to make the decision. And the decision that they have to make is signing a purchase agreement. That's it. We have to find people that have made the decision they're going to sell. I'm going to say it a bazillion times because I know that there's people in your pipeline. There's people in my pipeline right now that we have to go and clean up. Every single week, every single month, we're cleaning it up. Do they actually want to sell, or are they just looky-loos? Are they just people that are just kind of kicking the tires, seeing if, some investor will give them some ridiculous amount of money, or, are they just going to try to lowball me type of thing, right? They're just trying to figure out where we are at as investors, property owners. So this first 90 days is going to be really tough, all right? This is phase one. Stage one. Stage two is getting consistent. This is when we're closing a deal every single month, all right? This usually starts happening about month 4, right? If we're consistent with our lead generation and with our lead follow-up, they go hand in hand. This is when we start getting to about a deal a month. And this usually, in my experience, and I've coached about 4,000 people, 3,500 individually, and then about 500 through YouTube and Instagram and whatever else. You usually see that monthly closings kind of continue for about the first year, right? The first year, which is great because you're closing. I mean, these deals are anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 a deal, right? You can start replacing your current income here. This is when you kind of fire your boss, so to speak. You walk in and say, thank you for the opportunity to work here, but I'm actually have a better opportunity for me and my family, and I'm going to go and embrace that and go after that. So thank you for the opportunity to work here, but I'm out, right? Boom, fire your boss. Now we get into stage 3, and this is usually between years 1 and 3. All right, this is when we're starting to get to like the weekly closings, right? We're starting to build momentum with our pipeline of leads. We continue to be really good at our lead follow-up. We're staying super, super, super consistent. We start adding people to our team to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks and that we have the capacity to grow. And it gets really, really exciting when you start closing about 1 a week, because now you've got $1 million business, right? And then you push over to stage 4, which is you're closing one every business day, every single business day, which is awesome. It's like 200, 250 deals a year. And that usually happens year 3 and beyond, right? If you just follow the plan, if you just stay absolutely consistent with your lead generation and with your lead follow-up. All right. Now I want to give you guys something real quick here. I'm going to jump back in here and I'm going to give you guys this right here. This is the master lead sheet. I'm going to swing around here as well. I don't know what camera you want me on, but this is the pad of paper. This is what my company has, right? We have this pad of paper that they fill out as the leads are coming on. We just fill this out. You can see that it's really important if you go through this to really understand, okay, where did this lead source come from? Is it a hot lead? You see that question there in the top right? Is it a hot lead? And I'll show you why that's important, because you want to triage your hot leads. Next is, what's their motivation? What's their timeline? Get all the specifics about the house. Get the specifics about how much is Zillow saying it's worth? What are they asking? What's the fix-up value? What do you think it is? What's the repairs, right? And then down here at the very bottom, you're going to see a couple different things that are kind of unique to these forms that we fill out. And that is the personality style. There's an incredible book called Versatile Selling. I'll pull it up later. Versatile Selling. It's a green book. It's thin. It's super dry. There's no stories, but it's very good. And it really breaks down the different types of personality styles. And so it's really important to understand, because that'll help you with your follow-up. With your follow-up, if somebody's very analytical, you want to make sure that you're following up with them a little bit differently. You want to make sure that you're bringing numbers to the table. You want to make sure that you're bringing very specific solutions to the table. So when you're following up with somebody that's analytical, you want to be saying certain things like, okay, I broke down all the numbers and I've got a very specific game plan for the way that I'm going to buy your property. Much different than a driver. Driver's like, give me the price now. What's the price? Give me the price, right? Much different than an amiable personality. They want everybody to feel good. They say stuff like, I feel this way, right? And then you've got the You've got your expressives, which they just want to chat your face off. So when you're dealing with an expressive, when I see that it's an expressive checked here, I'm setting at least 30 minutes for follow-up because they're going to go bananas. All right. These are all little tactics that can really help improve, one, your schedule, and two, your lead follow-up process. So make sure that you're pulling and understanding what kind of personality style your prospects have so you know how to follow up with them. All right. And then at the bottom, I have a little signature and date page here because I think there's something magical when you sign your name to something. That means you actually filled it out. You actually went through and pre-qualified all the way. And now you've got this. Now you can transfer this to your computer. You could keep it in. I had an accordion binder. We'll go grab that. Will you grab that, Luke? The accordion binder that I have in my office. I still have it. And what I would do is I would just write these out. I would put it in my accordion binder, and then I would just be following up and following up and following up. If it was the 12th, I'd go into the 12th day of the month, and then I would just call all of the leads that I had. I didn't want to, no. What are you doing? Is it in my office? It should be. It's the brown accordion binder over in the corner. Nope. Oh my gosh, the old CRM. Yeah. Will you help him out, Matt? There we go. Anyway, so I had 1 through 31, and then I had January through December. If I'm pulling June 12th, boom, I'm pulling it out. This is what it looks like here. You can get them on Amazon for like nothing. I got it at Staples back in the day, and you just fill it out. And this is the month one. This has January through December. And then I would just pull them out and put them in each day that I was doing follow-ups, and then just call them up. And I did my first $1 million just using that as a CRM. That's it. All right. So now let's talk about triage. All right. Let's talk about which leads are most important. Your leads are going to break down into 3 buckets. Very simple: hot, warm, cold. A hot lead is somebody that's going to sell their property in the next 7 days, in the next week. All right. That's a hot lead. A warm lead is somebody that it's typically going to be about 30 days or more. All right. It's between that 7 to like 90 days. You know, there's something stopping them. I'll give you an example. We've got a lead right now, and we went on the appointment to just, actually Ryan's going on the appointment as we speak right now. The mom is in hospice. Mom is in hospice. Their attorney is saying, hey, listen, take the time, spend time with your mom. Don't worry about selling the property. When the time comes, you'll have plenty of time to sell the property after your mom passes. We've got everything figured out. It's in the trust. It's going to be an easy transfer of title once that time comes. But just take your time, spend the time with your mom, whether she lives a day or she lives 6 months, whatever it is, take your time. Like, there's going to be situations like that. There's going to be situations where you run into a landlord that has a tenant in there. Their lease isn't done until, you know, for 2 more months, and then they want them to get out of the property, and then they're going to sell it. Now, obviously, you can lock up those properties earlier. You can shorten that timeline for them to sign an agreement with you. But some people just will stiff arm you. It's not on their radar. They've got bigger fish to fry in their life, right? And so with those warm leads, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to them every single week. With hot leads, you're reaching out to them every single day. Every day. If it's a hot lead, you're reaching out to them. If it's a warm lead, every single week, you're calling, texting, voicemail, email. Every single week, you're just planting that seed. And make it very conversational. You don't have to be too aggressive. Hey, you ready to sell? Hey, you ready? I'm ready to give you that offer. Hey, you ready for all this cash I'm going to give you? Oh, it's going to be a big problem when you have to go and count all this cash I'm going to give you. Stop it. Just touch base with them. Just making sure that you know that I'm still here, still interested in buying the property. Please let me know when it's appropriate for us to discuss an offer, right? And then just touch with your warm, with your cold leads. Here's the deal with cold leads. All right. Cold leads, they really haven't made the decision they're going to sell. Really, the only reason we keep a cold lead around is because the house is destroyed. Okay. The house is absolutely destroyed, and they have two options. Sink a bunch of their own money into the property, which they don't have typically, or they have to sell to a cash as is. That's it. You know, there's not a lot of conventional banks that are going to lend on properties that need significant improvements. All right, so you got your hot, your warm, and your cold. All right, cold are just ugly properties. You touch base with them once a month. So hot, daily, warm, weekly, and then cold, monthly. All right, you want to just keep reaching out and reaching out and reaching out. Now, let's look at the different types of leads, because this is when it gets really exciting. Remember, we break down leads into two main factors: outbound and inbound leads. Outbound, you're being proactive. Outbound, you don't have a huge budget for your marketing, so you're going to have to budget your time. You're trading the time for the money, and you're going to go and you're going to really push with calls, texts, or door knocks. That's really it from a really proactive standpoint. And you're either reaching out to the property owners or you're reaching out to the people that represent property owners, right? Now, the typical timeline for these guys is 90 to 120 days. 90 to 120 days from the first time that you talk to them to the time that you actually get paid. So this is a much longer lead follow-up sequence, which means the more leads that you put into your pipeline, and it's about 1 to 50, 50, with calls and door knocks and leads from text messages. 1 to 50 is how many leads you have per deal. Okay, so you have to have a tremendous amount of leads in your pipeline that you're following up with. This means the more outbound that you do, the more manpower you need. Don't even get me started. Oh, I'll just set up automated drip campaigns. It's nonsense. Literal nonsense. Every mastermind that I've ever been in, nobody's running their business with automated drip campaigns. Because the fact is, if they did, I'd go into that market and I'd beat them like a drum, because I'd use humans to go and do the follow-up, and it'd be a lot better. So don't get, I mean, it's a nice sales pitch to just set up, oh, I'm going to set up a go high level automation and throw a bunch of text messages and random stuff at these leads, these prospects. Don't do that. It's an absolute mess. You got to use real humans if you want to get the biggest deals, right? You can get the laydowns from automation, and it might happen that you get a couple here and there, but you're not growing a really, really big multi-million-dollar business that you keep $1 million plus every year from the net, from doing automated lead follow-up sequences. It's not going to happen, all right? But the nice thing about outbound is your ROI is huge. Your ROI is $1 to 5 to 20 to 100, because you're not spending much money on generating these leads, right? Because you're being proactive. You're reaching out to them, and you can have a really nice control of your schedule. But it's a much longer timeline, and you need a lot of people if you're going to go to, again, here. These here, right? Into stage 3 and stage 4 of your business. All right? Now, bippity boppity boo. Inbound. This is the transition in your business. This, you need way less people, but way more aggressive lead follow-up. And I'm going to show you the sequence that we have. That's a 22 call in the first 24 hours with inbound leads that we can't get a hold of initially. Now, obviously, we're not going to call them 22 times if we get a hold of them. But if they're sending in if they call us and for some reason we don't answer live, which is very rare, it's about 5% of the incoming calls we don't answer live. Or if they do, we do a tremendous amount of PPC. Then as soon as we get that lead, we're going really, really aggressive to get them on the phone 22 times in 24 hours. I'll show you the sequence. But look at this. Facebook, 63 days average, first contact to close. PPL, 47. This is my business. Direct mail, 71. TV, 42. PPC, 32 days. Guys, I am telling you, all roads lead here. All roads lead here. All of them. The problem with inbound that I see is you're not getting as much action, so you get lulled to sleep. idle hands do the devil's work, right? You ever heard that phrase? And when you're only getting a couple leads in a day from your marketing efforts, or a few leads in a day, you kind of get bored and then you start doing crazy, wacky stuff. And so really be careful there. But all of the big companies are focused on this. Once you get to $1 million plus and really, really, really growing, it's going to be, let's call it $1.5 million plus. You're going to be mostly doing inbound. And now I'm transitioning my company 100% to inbound, because I don't need as many people, and the leads are a lot faster. That means that we could squeeze more deals into a year. And that's when you get, again, back into this. Deal of the day, baby. Deal of the day, right? That's what we're working on, okay? So lead follow-up, don't overcomplicate your lead follow-up sequence. If it's a hot lead, you're talking to them every day. If it's a warm lead, you're talking to them every week. If it's a cold lead, you're talking to them every month. Guys, we have a bananas show for you today, by the way. We've got Tom Kroll, my mentor, your mentor. He's coming up in 4 minutes after I get done with my soapbox rant for the week. We've got Tom Kroll. He's giving us some more business lessons that I'm telling you, everything this man says just goes right into your synapses and just sits in your brain. You're like, this is genius. Why have I never heard this before? We've got Henry Washington. Bigger Pockets, host of the Bigger Pockets podcast, incredible guy. He came out to our summit last year, Wholesaling Inc. summit, and was just absolutely phenomenal. He's going to blow your face off. He just came out with a book. We're going to be talking a little bit about that, but more, I'm going to be picking his brain about his lead follow-up sequence. We've got Hugh Boy out of Georgia. He came to this country when he was 16, didn't speak any English, now has a $1 million wholesaling business. We're going to pick that all apart. We've got Andrew Lucas, who's doing over 100 deals still in South Carolina, where they outlawed assignments. We're going to be picking his brain. And then I'm doing all my song and dance, and I'm tap dancing for you guys the first 30 minutes, but I don't do the lead follow-up in my business. Chad Coulter, my junior acquisition manager, does the bulk of the lead follow-up in our business. And he's coming on here at noon Pacific Standard Time, let alone all of the giveaways we're going to be giving away, let alone Rafael Cortez joining us in about 30 minutes. This show is action-packed, and it is going to be bananas. And I promised you guys this, and I want to show you this. This is our, I don't know if I can zoom in, probably not. This is our contact for new PPC or PPL leads that come in. In the first 30 seconds, we do 3 calls. Call, no answer, call, no answer, call, no answer. Voicemail, text, email. Did we contact them? No. Okay. 20 minutes later, triple tap from a different phone number. We use 3 different phone numbers for our lead follow-up when people are not responding, to see if they'll respond to a different number. All right. And then boom, call, no answer, call, no answer, call, no answer, voicemail, and another text message. Again, 20 minutes later from the same number before, 3 times. Boom. And then we go to in the afternoon. So we're going to hit them really hard for the first hour, and then we're going to wait until the afternoon to see if we can catch them there. And by that time, guys, we're getting a hold of everybody. I'm telling you, it's very rare that somebody puts in information on our website and we don't have a conversation with them, because we are relentless. I'm telling you this, and everybody should write this down. And somebody put this in the notes. Motivated sellers love motivated investors. They love it. They can't get enough of it. Motivated sellers love motivated investors. All caps, tattoo it on your thigh, right side up, so that when you look down at your left thigh, it says it right there. Boom. It's a beautiful tattoo. You going to get it, Luke? Yeah, Luke's going to get it. Awesome. I think Tom Kroll already has one. Yeah. He's got that, or I think he's got a Snoopy or something. Yeah, it's awesome. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, without further ado, the man, my mentor, the coach of all the coaches, pours into our show every single week, Tom Kroll. Tom Kroll.
Bam!
How are you?
How it goes, brother?
Man, you're looking good.
Man, I just saw a pop-up. I got motivatedsellersondemand.com needs to be renewed on my GoDaddy account. Are we doing a deal? What is you need it for something, right?
Let's
Come
do
on.
it. Yeah.
If you don't buy it, somebody else is. This just popped up. It was a sign.
Sold. How many websites do you own, Tom?
87. I know exactly.
Ooh.
I know exactly how many .coms I own because we just went through it on a light item on my easy peasy report with Tony Counts. So I know exactly.
Are you talking about your net worth?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Right?
Yes.
I get a net. I call it the easy peasy report. Right? You got to know your numbers. Yep. You got to know your numbers, right? So guys, here's what it looks like. My easy peasy report. I don't care if you're in business, you need to know number one on my easy peasy report. Here's what I get from Tony, right? I get this every Thursday, 10 o'clock, we review it. An 8th grader can read this report. Number one, it tells me OAC. What does OAC stand for? Owner's Actual Compensation. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing. I need to know how much money is moving from my business to my pocket how often? Every month or no? How often? Every single week.
Every week.
Every week. You want to have a power position in business? Move right now from a monthly calendar to a weekly calendar. Use an Epic calendar. Today is the 24th week of the year. I'm telling you guys right now, there's a principle in business. It's 10 weeks or 10 months, right? 10 weeks or 10 months. When you have a weekly calendar with your basic numbers coming in, and anybody who wants this easy peasy report that I get, when we flew Pace down, right, and we went on the hunting trip, Pace hired Tony. He gets the same report. If you guys want the same report, just let me know and I'll get you. But here's the deal. When 10 weeks, not 10 months. By the time someone on a month-to-month calendar knows their right numbers and what's going on and who stole something from the bank account or what marketing channel's not working, that can take 10 months. Find out stuff in 10 weeks. It's a huge advantage. Yeah. And when you use a baby report, number one, how much money moved from the business to my pocket every single week? I want to know. Number two, what's my net worth? How much did it go up? Where is your net worth sitting? How much is in gold, Bitcoin, stock market, S&P 500? How much is sitting in real estate, right? You want to know these things and where they're moving. You want to have Kevin O'Leary teaches us in family. Robert Kiyosaki had me read that book, Family and Finances. So just guys, business is easy. Owners are complicated. You want a huge change right now, move to a weekly calendar, move from a monthly calendar to a weekly reporting, and it's going to change your life. 100% guaranteed.
So Tom, do you start with the end in mind? Do you go, okay, $50 million net worth by X date means, a breakdown here, and here. And then that helps form your decisions on what you're going to invest in, what you're going to focus your time on, what you're going to build, that type of thing.
So let's talk about that. Right?
Work?
So, what my favorite topic, right? So here's what I'm going to tell: shorter goals, right? Big, short goals, and then daily micro moves. Every day, put horse blinders on, right? There's distractions. A distraction will kill entrepreneurs. I've seen entrepreneurs designing logos, God forbid, picking out colors for a website, God forbid, right? Here's the way it works, guys. What does Michael Gerber teach us in the E-Myth? An entrepreneur, every single day, you have to wonder, right? He says it 3 times. I wonder what this business would look like if it served me. I wonder what this business would look like how do Brent Daniels and I own or have partial ownership in so many businesses that I've lost count of? Here's the reason. Every day you wake up and you say, I wonder what this business would look like if it ran without me. I wonder what this business would look like if it gave me all of the benefits of it being an entrepreneur, where I had a business that I ran instead of a business that runs me. That's where you want to live. Every single morning, wake up and meditate that. Just as your eyes are still adjusting to the light, make sure you have a good book. You're reading a good book every day. You got good stuff pouring into you. You're listening to Brent Daniels. These are the keys. And yeah, shorter goals, big goals that are definitely attainable, and then micro moves every single day. Build out your team. Who are the best guys? There's no mini me's in any business, right? There is no such thing as a mini me. No one can do exactly. Otherwise, you're just going to be in a season of, oh, this guy didn't love the business as much as I do, so now I got to go back to work. Amateur hour, right? Rookie mistake. Systems, processes, SOPs. Remember one of the rules in business, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Don't tell me you have a business if you don't have a checklist, if I can come in and do the business without you, right? So when you hire people, here's a big rule. Are you ready for a big rule?
I'm ready.
Guys, here's a big rule. When you hire people, you only hire people who are already working. Never hire somebody looking for a job. If they're not working, if you want to work for me, you got to get a job. You want to get a job with me, you got to get a job first, because I'm not going to be your experiment, right? So same thing across the board. Hire the people that you actually want. You hire an attorney, right? There's only two types of attorneys. There's the attorney who sits behind the desk all day, the consultant attorney, right? They have all the pretty books behind them. And then there's Jerry, right? He's got his tie undone, and Gladys says, I'm sorry, you can't get a hold of Jerry today. He's in court. Trial attorneys. You only hire trial attorneys. I don't care what they're doing, even if they're just drawing up a contract. Trial attorneys know what's going on. So little tiny micro moves like that. That's how you have ownership in multiple businesses. You can run multiple businesses simultaneously. Entrepreneurship, it's a great adventure, right? There's no destination, right? It's a journey. Everything you want is going to be found along the way. If you do stop for a second, believe me, you're going to keep going. And let's talk about that goal, right? One of the secrets to a goal of a financial, guys, you want to know the real secret, right? Put a cap on your financial aspirations, right? Put a cap on your financial aspirations. I'm telling you guys, here is a big secret. The first step in financial freedom is understanding that it's not your money. If you're a good steward of money, you'll be put in charge of more of it. Once you have the big amount that you want, whatever it is, you hit it, set a new goal. There's no joy in running up the score of a one game. You just set a new goal. There's faith, family, finances, friends, there's all kinds of fitness, right? It's on my list soon to be, very soon. But I'm telling you. So, I mean, again, it's.
Yeah, but talk about that, Tom. Like it's, as entrepreneurs and as big thinkers and people that are watching this and listening to this, we're like, I don't want to put limits on what I can do. Right. And then you realize, you get to a certain income level, and I actually had this conversation yesterday with Eugene Latson, and he's like, Brent, I just closed a deal for $20K and I feel nothing. Right. Right. Like literally it feels nothing. And he's closing some bigger deals and some bigger deals and some bigger deals. And he's growing his business, and he's within his first year. Right. You know what I mean? He's like, how do you stay motivated and do those things? Well, and so like, what happens? Why do we go, oh, okay, I don't want any limits. But then all of a sudden, when we're closing $20,000 every week or every day, all of a sudden we get numb to it. What is that?
Here's what happens. First of all, there's no such thing as time management. There is only priority management, right? This is the first recognition, right, of kind of step one. To anybody who the same amount of time on this broadcast that went by for you, went by for me, went by for your audience, right? There is only priority management. If I want to know what's important to anybody, all I have to do is look back and see where they put their time and their attention and their money, right? And that's what their priorities are. So the first recognition of that is that. The second recognition is hustle is a season, not a lifestyle.
Love it.
There are things that you have to do in the beginning that you may not want to do, and that's fine. But this whole idea of like, stay hungry, stay hustling, what are you talking about? Why would I stay? I don't want, this. No, no. I don't
legacy, Tom. It's all about legacy. That's what we've been sold on forever and ever and ever and ever is, well, the legacy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, name me one of Abraham Lincoln's grandchildren. Or great-grandchildren,
right?
Or great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Give me what you know what I mean. Like,
Silly.
Let's talk about some of these big names, the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers and all that. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about here?
Much better in. You want to learn?
Their lives were messes. If you go into their real lives, it was an absolute nightmare.
Oh,
like real nightmares.
Abraham Lincoln, right? 16th president, elected in 1961, right? Lost the whole, forget the whole, read that story of that tragedy, right? So yeah, I totally agree. And a lot of those early people, they broke a lot of rules that you don't want to break.
No.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. Business is really, really easy. Owners are really, really complicated. You just want to get out of your own way. You want to emulate success. All the old rules they are proven. They are absolute. They're 100%. Check out the old rules. That's the key. You read every day. That's one of the big. Have any vision is better than no vision. All these books, I've got a book right there from my buddy Trevor Mock, who recommended it, called Vivid Vision. If you guys don't know Trevor Mock, he owns an amazing, massive company called Carrot.com. You remember when it was
that literally only exists because of Tom Kroll.
Here's what I'm going to say, guys.
Trevor Mock had 2 clients before Tom Kroll.
Hey, no, I give all the credit to Trevor Mock. He is a rock star. He is crushing it in every way. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be with Trevor in about 2 weeks on a great adventure in Pennsylvania. So I'm looking forward to that. But here's what I would say, guys, is that just follow the old rules. And when Brent Daniels is reading a book, I remember the first time I met Brent Daniels, he said, oh man, and he was so excited about life, and he still is. And he said, oh, I got this book, The Go-Giver Bumper. And I was like, oh, I love it. This guy, all in. There you go. Where's the book? There it is. I love it. And yeah, I've got my copy of Rhinoceros Success somewhere, but it's totally.
I've got it all highlighted. I've got it signed by the authors. It's awesome. Yeah,
brother.
I read it every week for a year.
Here's Robert Kiyosaki writing. He wrote all his notes in my book. He wrote the quadrant. Oh, I love it. He goes, no, Tom, you don't understand. This is how it works. Robert, I love it. Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's
how do we determine? Last question, Tom, because I know that you've got a lot going on. But how do we determine what that goal should be? What that upper limit? Like once we hit that, how do we know? Okay, now we start focusing on other things. Now we focus on whatever other hobbies or whatever other tithing or giving or volunteering our time or philanthropy or maybe you want to get into helping people that have special needs or helping people that, or you want to get into wood whittling or, boat making or, become a master guitar player. Who knows, but how do we know how to set that upper limit for our financial goals?
Here's what I would say, specifically to the financial goal, right? Pick a big one. You especially do this if you're married, or you're in a relationship with your partner. Do this with your partner. Do this with your spouse, right? Your fiance, your significant other, right? This is entrepreneurship is as a team sport. It is not you get to the top of the mountain all by yourself, and I guarantee you're going to jump off, right? Yep. So this is, you have to prioritize things properly, right? But here's the answer, guys, right? It's really simple. Never lose your usefulness to other people.
Yep.
Your aspirations should be to be the best, not to be the biggest. And remember the old rules, right? When it comes to these kind of things like finances, these are symptoms. They are not they're not the destination. Money is a symptom of your condition, right? Poor people are chasing the symptoms all the time, right? Money doesn't like to be chased. It runs from you, right? It's like dating, right? You don't chase people. It's not attractive. You have to attract, not chase, right? So here's the way it works. It's really very simple. Be the best, not be the biggest, right? Have your aspirations to be the best. Always know, ask yourself every morning, right? Number one, entrepreneurial question. I wonder what this business would look like if it ran without me. Who am I a hero to? Decide who you're going to be a hero and how you're going to be a hero. Be Yoda and find your Luke Skywalker, and business will be a breeze. I promise you.
Tom, how can people find you?
CoachingInc.com. I started a group for entrepreneurs. If you want to grow a business, if you want to get your business sellable, if you want a business that runs without you, CoachingInc.com, fill out an application, and it's a detailed application. Otherwise, it gets bounced. You get put on a 5-month waiting list, and you can reapply in 5 months, but make sure you fill out that application and you're thorough. So provide a full response. But yeah, it'll be a great adventure. We'll go on an awesome journey.
Tom, you're the best. Love you,
buddy. You're the best, brother. God bless. Be well. Talk soon. See you guys. Bye-bye.
I don't know a single person or business that, Matt, there you go, that has not 10x'd working with Tom Kroll. He's that good, and he's that in demand. He's absolutely the best. So coachinginc.com, definitely check that out. We're going to do a giveaway, guys. We're going to do a giveaway. These balloons have been taunting me all show. For 48 minutes and 41 seconds, they've been taunting and they've been like, hey, I bet you can't pop me from all the way on the other side of the room. It's too easy, guys. It's been too easy week after week. I'm getting too good at throwing darts at balloons at a cork board, I guess, a bulletin board that we have makeshifted here for the giveaway. So I'm going to show you what we're giving away. And anybody that is live has the opportunity to win. Be nice to Alejandra. The people that ask the most questions and put in the most wins for the week move up in their opportunity to get something here. So I'll wait for Matt to transfer my microphone. Hopefully he's got that. You good, Matt? Okay. We'll go top shelf. It's going to be the Rhino hoodie. Boom. Very soft. People put this on and they're like, I've never had a hoodie this soft before. This is amazing. I feel like I'm wrapped up in lavender. I know. I feel you. The middle one is going to be the classic TTP shirt. Boom. TTP shirt. You wear this to all the meetups and instantly you're building rapport. And then we've got this cool kind of 90s style trapper keeper, which I will put in the master lead sheet little pad inside of here and give that away. So let's see. I'm going to go way back. All right. I'm going to go at the edge of the carpet. We're usually throwing from right here. Well, you can't get a real perspective here. We're usually throwing from here, but I'm going to go whoop, 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 and it's all the way over there. Here we go. Oof. Ooh. Oh. Oh my gosh, this is way harder. All right. Come on, guys. Come on. Boom. Finally. There we go. Thank you, guys. So we will be giving away the TTP shirt. So be nice to Alejandra and she'll be sending it. Thank you for the support there, Michelle. And we'll get somebody else that TTP shirt. So guys, we got some celebrations here in the chat here. The show really takes it to the next level with your guys' participation. So any questions you have on lead follow-up, any questions you have on specific leads that you have right now, and or any wins that you've had over the week, we want to be able to celebrate that. We've got Henry Washington coming up in about 12 minutes, but let's look at JVC. Has 3 contracts from PPL so far for 6,000 spent, 70,000 in the pipeline. Come on. That is awesome. Congratulations, Javier. I love it. JVC in the Rhino Tribe. Great member of the Rhino Tribe. Michelle, awesome. Michelle gets the shirt. So there you go. Guys, let's go real quick to, I have some thoughts. Yeah. Idle hands do the devil's work. It always has been for me. I got to always stay busy or all of a sudden I start sabotaging a bit. But I want to give you some advice. And this is something that I took from a mentor of mine and Mike Ferry. And they would always talk about the importance of lead follow-up. And this was the instructions that he gave to me. Number 1, each week, take a careful look at the total number of leads you have and see how many will sign a purchase agreement in the next 7 to 10 days. And he believed if they didn't sign a deal, sign the purchase agreement in the next 7 to 10 days, throw them away. And this was very challenging in my business because it made me really focus on the people that were ready for an appointment today. And I found that the more that I was looking for people that wanted to sell in the next week or 10 days, the more I found them. Is it the reticular activator? Somebody in the chat, Google that. I think it's reticular activator. That's like the antenna in your brain, right? It's like when a pregnant woman sees only pregnant women, right? Alejandra, is that happening? Are you seeing pregnant women everywhere? Or you buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see those cars everywhere, right? It's just you turn you tune into people that'll sell in the next 7 days, and boom, you're going to find them. And that leads to what Roland's saying here, which I love, is that's a trash can. Boom. And that's number 2. We have to learn to throw leads away, because the better you become at building a business, the fewer leads you will have or need. Guys, that goes back to this. It goes back to right here. You don't, and by the way, here's the stats right here. PPL right now is 1 to 20. And this is just in Phoenix. It's a little bit higher. For PPC, it's 1 to 15. TV was 1 and 5. Was leads to deal, or deals to lead, right? And here, with the calls and door knocks and texts, it's more like 1 to 50. And that's real numbers, 50 leads to 1 deal. And so remember, with this, with outbound, which is awesome when you're getting started, and if you don't have a budget, you got to do it. You got to be proactive. This is that hustle season that Tom was talking about, that 1 to 50. Remember, when you close this one, you're not just replacing 1 lead in your pipeline. You're replacing 50 leads in your pipeline. With this, you're replacing 20 or 5 or 15. All roads lead, boop, 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 pay-per-click. I'm just telling you. All right. Let's get back to this. Next. Most investors have too many leads, and as a result, the urgency for lead generation is diminished. You feel good with that healthy pipeline, so you stop generating the leads, which is a death kiss for any business. We have to remove the following thought from I love this. We have to remove the following thought from our mind. I can take a non-motivated prospect and through long-term follow-up, make them motivated. You see what I put there? This is silly. This is silly. It doesn't happen. It's just fake. It doesn't work. So don't do it. The higher the quality of lead, the faster they convert. We just talked about it. And the less time we need to spend working on them. We just talked about it. There you go. Remember, it doesn't do any good to generate leads every day if we're not going to do effective lead follow-up. Let's go back to this real quick. Boom. 80% of sales are made between the 5th and 12th. Absolutely incredible. And remember this question: have we lost more business because of too many calls to our leads or too few? Oh, what's that highlighted bold that I have there? Motivated leads love motivated investors. That's the absolute fact, guys. Now let's go to before we have. We've got 7 minutes before Henry Washington's going to come in here and really blow our minds. It's absolutely incredible. You've seen him in Bigger Pockets. He's coming out. He just released his book yesterday, and we're going to be talking about that. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about his lead follow-up. But let me give you some tools that myself and the Rhino Tribe are using that have been really, really, really great. I'm going to do this by window, and I'm going to go here. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to go share, and I'm going to go boom. This one people really like. This one is TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit. So if you need somebody to go and take pictures of your property, to open up your property, pretty much anything, if you're doing something virtual or it's a deal that's, more than 90 minutes drive away, TaskRabbit is a really, really, really good resource for finding people that can do kind of odd jobs for you. So definitely check that out. There's often times where we can't get a hold of a property owner with the numbers that we have skip traced. And so Skip Genie does a really great job of, they do a really good job of finding all the relatives for those property owners. So all those vacant properties you can't get a hold of, all the people that you've tried, they're just not answering. This will give you the opportunity to reach out to the relatives. So make sure that that you're checking out Skip Genie for that real deep dive into all the other potential contacts that you can reach out for those specific leads that you've been eyeballing, especially your driving for dollars ones, especially the ones that are, you know, in really, really, really rough shape that you know are going to be great deals. All right. Next, we pull our lists that we go after for direct mail from flipfinder.ai, flipfinder.ai. The mail actually gets sent out of here, but their AI list, what they do is they pull together all of the most likely properties to sell at a wholesale price based on the algorithm of the last 40 years sale data throughout the country. And it's really, 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 really powerful. And it's 15 times more likely to sell in the next 90 days using that AI list than just a typical list. So really, really powerful. Check out flipfinder.ai. Guys, this is our #1 list in the Rhino Tribe right now. I talk about it every week because it's so incredibly powerful. US Lead List. US Lead List. It is an incredible list of pre-probates. So proprietary technology to go in and go through the obituaries and find the people that have recently passed and match them up with the properties that they own and give you the contact information. You go through us, you tell them TTP or Brent or the Rhino Tribe or whatever you want to tell them. You get $500 off and you get free unlimited skip tracing for life for all of those lists. So really, really, really powerful. US Lead List is awesome. The other one, guys, Real Supermarket. Let them know that I sent you and they hook you up. Real Supermarket has all of the really, really, really cool niche lists that you've been looking for, but it's been a little bit tougher to find. Code violations, tax liens, probates, foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and credit repair. Guys, these guys at Chut right here, you email them or call them and get set up. And these guys sell all the lists to all the other list providers. So if you want to spend 50% less on these real niche lists that the other companies are charging you, here you go. And next, we talked PPL. You just saw JVC said that he's spent $6,000. He's making 70 grand through pay per lead. Go to ttpleads.com. ttpleads.com, and that's powered by Property Leads. They give you $250 credit going through ttpleads.com. And I really like this for inbound, especially if you're closing some deals and you want to get some more inbound leads. Make sure that you're responding to those inbound leads within 30 seconds, and then follow the follow-up sequence that I showed you earlier in the show. Make sure that you check that out. But really, really, really great opportunity to get some inbound leads of people that want to sell their property. And then when you really want to take it to the 4th level, stage 3 and 4 of your business, where you're really closing on a weekly and daily basis, you got to get PPC in your life. And that's at talktopeople.com. So those are the tools for you guys to check out. TaskRabbit for all your random tasks that you need done. Skip Genie, flipfinder.ai, US Lead List, realsupermarket.com, ttpleads.com, and talktopeople.com. And guys, we're ready. We're pumped. We're excited. How do I stop this screen? There we go. We've got them. We've got the hosts of Bigger Pockets. We've got the newly minted best-selling author. I'm going to just say it, Henry. I'm going to just put it out there. From Arkansas, he's got a tremendous rental portfolio. He flips, he wholesales, he does creative deals, and then he shares it all to the public. He gives so much to our industry. It is my honor to bring on the Brent Daniels live show, Henry Washington. Henry, how are you, brother?
What's up, buddy? I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Real estate deal maker. The book is out. Just came out, yesterday?
Yesterday, launch day.
Awesome. How's it been?
It's been incredible, man. Like, the response has been great. We've gotten reviews, like third-party companies have reviewed it and gave it positive reviews. Like, it's just better than I could have imagined, man. This is
off and running. I love it.
Sir.
I love it. So let's crack open this book a little bit and let's talk about some lead follow-up. right? Let's
Yeah.
pick your brain here on your processes and your procedures when you are getting leads in. Obviously, there's two types of leads, right? Inbound and outbound. So if you could just speak to the process that you guys go through in your real estate business for lead follow-up and what kind of attention you put on that part of your process.
Yeah. So when a lead comes in, whether it's inbound or outbound, it goes into a CRM, and those leads immediately get labeled as hot, warm, or cold leads. And
Uh-huh.
so hot leads obviously get the most attention and have the shortest follow-up window. Typically the same day or the next day we're following up on hot leads, just depending on what that conversation was with the seller. The warm leads, we will set a time frame anywhere from a week to a month, depending on that warm lead. And anything in cold leads, I know some people don't follow up on their cold leads, but we follow up on our cold leads until somebody tells me to kick rocks. You're going to hear from me every once in a blue
Sure.
moon.
I love it. So who in your business is responsible for the lead follow-up?
Yeah, lead follow-up falls in my my acquisitions manager's lap right now.
Awesome. And all day long, they're just making calls or what?
Yeah,
you got a
no,
lead coming in. What's going on? You're like, oh, man.
No, so obviously the dashboard kind of helps you define what your day looks like. But
Yep.
really what we have our one of their main functions, or her main functions, is she's out beating the streets, like
Yep.
door knocking and getting in front of people in neighborhoods that we really like. And so those leads end up in our CRM as well. And so that CRM will always let her know what call she needs to make that day from a follow-up standpoint. But we're also making cold calls on new leads, and we're out beating the streets. So she's got her hands full with everything that we ever doing.
I love it. What CRM are you using?
It is what's the one with the three dots? Goodness, you got me asking questions. I'm not the guy anymore.
I
Brent.
love it. I love it.
Asana.
Asana. Nice.
Yes.
Okay. And then so that has like a task bar of who you're following up with that day and the notes.
It's essentially like a Kanban board. For those of you who've ever worked in corporate, the Kanban board is where you basically have a column and you put a task in a column. And then when that task gets done, you move it to another column. So we created essentially a Kanban board for our leads. So there's a column for hot, column for medium, column for cold. There's a column for dead, meaning they've told us to kick rocks, but we still want to keep the information. And there's a column for realtor leads. So these are things that come in that we want to pass to our real estate agent, because when we're passing leads to our real estate agent, that incentivizes them to continue to help us comping our properties.
I wanted to show you this and see your thoughts here. This is the classic breakdown of the statistics on how many contacts you have to make to get a deal, right? And 80% are between 5 and 12 contact to get a deal. Would you agree with this?
I would say that is extremely accurate. Extremely accurate. And I would say that it's probably more accurate than we can actually measure, because what I think happens a lot, and you tell me this if you agree with this, but you get people that get started doing that can say, I'm gonna do a little bit of marketing, right? I'm gonna try this mail thing out, or I'm gonna try this cold call thing out, right? And they do a little bit of mail or a little bit of cold calls. And so they touch a seller, 1, 2, maybe 3 times, they don't get a deal and they quit. And then you and I start sending our marketing, and we do it consistently. So I may have only hit that seller twice, but to that seller, they've now been hit 7 or 8 times. It just wasn't all by me. And so I'm still landing in that 80% bucket in from that seller's point of view. But from my point of view, it might have only been 2 touches.
This is what drives me crazy, Henry. The bottom of this. Okay. 48% never follow up. Now, I love it from a competitive standpoint, because I know we are. But isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
Like,
nuts. The majority of your money is made in the follow-up.
Why would you generate leads and not follow up? Why do you think that is?
Because it takes work.
Yeah.
Right. It's already hard enough for people. They see it as it's challenging enough to make cold calls, or it's challenging enough to send out marketing. It costs too much, or it costs too much time. And so they see that as I got over the hump and I did it. But then that follow-up, like that takes extra effort. Like you have to have some sort of a system in place. And I'm not saying you need to go out and spend money on Asana or some massive CRM system in order to manage your follow-up. Before I had a CRM, bro, I still have notes in my phone to this day with follow-up notes on it just in the notepad in my phone, and alarms set in my iOS alarm to just to notify me at 24 hours before I need to call somebody, so I could put it on my calendar. Like you have enough technology in your pocket right now that you don't need to go spend a bunch of money. You just need to develop a process that you can stick to, right? That's what's important. Not what Brent Daniels can stick to and not what Henry can stick to.
Right.
What do you need to implement in your life that you will actually stick to? Because there's some tools out there that I'll never use because I'm never messing with all that stuff. But I know I can set a notification in my phone, and when it goes off, I'll actually make the phone call.
Well, our co-host just showed up, Rafael Cortez here, and he built my CRM. Can you add him here, Matt, or do you have to switch? Yeah, add him. Yeah, beautiful. There we go. There's Rafael.
No, what up, buddy?
He built our CRM and Podio and made it really, really, really extensive. But I use this, Henry. I used an accordion binder and notes, and I would just put this notepad while it's over there. I would just put notes in. I would pull it out for the day, and I would just make the calls. It's kind of like your cell phone and notes right there on your phone. You don't have to overcomplicate this in the beginning. It's when you start bringing people on that you should really, you need to have some way to keep people accountable. And I think that's when you really get into a nice CRM.
Yeah, it's one of those things that accountability becomes important, right? When you have other people that are dealing with your marketing dollars. And that's like, I always, tell people, listen, if you're following up with less than 100 people at a time, like you still don't need to have this robust CRM. You can probably do it on a spreadsheet. You can do it on your phone.
Yep.
So don't get crazy. Just go for that, closing of that deal. And then, look at expanding once you need it. So
did you hear Henry's book came out and it's blowing up?
Love it.
Isn't that great?
He's a beast, bro.
Put it on. Where is it, Matt? Do we have it on here? I know you got it behind you there, Henry, but we've got it. We've got it here in our system as well. He's got two different types. So Henry, talk to us a little bit about your book.
Yeah, man. So it's called Real Estate Deal Maker, and I chose this because these are it deals with the two problems that every real estate investor faces, right? No matter where you are as a real estate investor, you're either working on this problem consistently or you've had to work on it. You've got to figure out, where the heck am I going to find these deals to buy at under market value? And where the heck am I going to find the money to buy these deals, right? Every single investor has faced these two questions. And technically, if you can solve these two problems in your business, then you can grow and scale your portfolio at whatever pace you're comfortable, right? Like if you knew you had leads coming in for deals you could buy at a discount, and you knew you had access to money to buy those deals that wasn't money in your personal bank account, you buy as many deals as you felt comfortable buying at any given time. And so this was just like the culmination of everything that I've learned that's helped me grow my business and grow it fairly quickly in terms of the size of the portfolio. It's just a matter of, how do you solve these two problems? So we go over everything. I want to teach people to be fundamentally sound investors. That means you need to know, what are all the tools I have in my tool belt? What are all the ways I could use to find good deals? What are all the ways I could use to finance good deals? And then you can start to piece together the finding deals methods and the funding deals methods that fit you, your business, and your financial situation the best, so you can have a robust real estate business. How many
properties in your portfolio?
Like 130 some odd.
130. And when did you start?
2017.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. 7 years. 7 years. Isn't that incredible?
It's been amazing.
But it's really important here, you guys. The huge fact, you can find the deals. Can you find the money to finance them? Do you know where to go and get the right long-term financing for those deals? This is what you break down in the book.
Yeah. I want to teach you need to be fundamentally sound, right? So that means you should understand, what are all the ways that I could finance a deal So then you select the financing that fits that deal the best and your financial situation the best, right? Like if you know you don't have a 25% down payment, you shouldn't be out here trying to use a conventional loan to buy a property. It's going to require you to have a 25% down payment. If you know you've only got 5% of what it might take to take down a deal, well, then you need to pick a loan structure that allows you to only have to bring 5% down. But that's going to require you to know enough about what are the ways that I could finance, and then how can I piece together different types of financing? So you don't have to just use one type of financing for a deal. You can structure it with multiple types of financing and take a deal down.
And how do you find the deals that you put into your portfolio?
Yeah, my main deal finding strategy is direct mail, cold calls, and PPC. That's what we're doing the most volume of, but I also do some radio ads and a couple other off the beaten path things. We'll try anything, and if it sticks, we're gonna increase the volume on it.
Awesome. And you're just wholesaling, flipping, coaching, doing bigger pocket stuff, selling books. I mean, all of these are different income streams for you to live off of. You're not living off of your cash flow, right?
No, I don't live off the cash flow.
And talk about that, because I think that's the fallacy, right? The fallacy is, I'm going to just get all this, $500 of cash flow every single month from this property, and I'm going to just, I'm out of the rat race. I own 130 deals, and I'm out of the rat race.
Cash flow's a myth,
right? Talk about that.
Cash flow's a myth.
Why?
Cash flow is a myth because it's the idea, like with real estate investing. The goal is wealth accumulation over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they teach you to buy cash flow, not so that you can replace your income. They teach you to buy cash flow because it is your protection. It's your defense mechanism. If you bought a deal that cash flows, essentially you bought a deal that you can have multiple exits out of, because cash flow is your indicator that your deal is a good deal. And if you don't have a good deal, that's when you get yourself into financial woes and tough situations. So cash flow isn't truly about getting $200 a month off a property and then replacing your day job income. Cash flow is your way of making sure that you bought a good deal, because if you bought a good deal, you've protected yourself. You've protected yourself against overrun on your renovation, because that costs you more time and more money. It's your best protection against the market shifting. That's everybody's biggest fear when they're new. Like, what if I buy a deal and then the market tanks? Well, what does the market tank really mean? If you look at the last crash, the market dropped 10, 15% in some places. It wasn't like this astronomical 50 to 70% drop, right? So if you see 10 to 15% as a crash, but you're buying your deals at a 30 to 40% discount, that means even if the market crashes, you've still got equity. Cash flow is your protection. It's your hedge against risk. It's not meant for you to live off of.
I love it. I think that's so important.
Really cool perspective,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and Henry and I had this conversation. It's like your portfolio is like building a company that you're building to exit someday. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or, there's two different, and I see this happen with a lot of really high level people that we work with, is they're going to build this big portfolio. They're going to ride appreciation for like 10, 15 years, maybe shorter if you catch it at the right time. And then they're going to sell it all and then be lenders. They're going to sell it all and put it into a big multifamily commercial property that really gives them some good cash flow to live off of. That's really the main play. It's the greenhouses, red hotel type of thing. Or like Henry and I discussed off air after the wholesale hotline, you buy twice as many properties. He's got 130. He gets them all to 50% equity. He sells half of them, pays the other half off. Now you've got a free and clear portfolio of 60, 70 properties. Now you're doing some really cool things. Now you've got real cash flow that you still hedge against any kind of concerns that you have about the market or people not paying rent or repairs or renovations or turnover on those properties. But you also get a tremendous amount of passive income.
Right. Yeah. And you also have to consider, right? Like when we buy and hold stuff, it's not just, the buy in and hold value. Like there's stuff that's going to come up, AC breaks, maintenance on the property, vacancy ratios. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to learn that lesson early on, because I was in that mindset. Like, I need to get this cash flow so I can replace my job. My second property, closed on it. Fantastic deal, was getting a few $100s a month cash flow. one weekend the AC goes out, $6,500 I have to spend. And I'm like, and that's when I did the math. I'm like, okay, $6,500. I'm making $200 a month. Oh shit, it's going to take me like 2 years to just break even from this AC unit that I bought, right? And that doesn't mean I shouldn't have bought the house. It just means you have to change how you think about what your cash flow really is and what you think you're going to do with it. Because if you're planning to live off of it, you gotta have a ton of houses.
I have, and the other thing that's really interesting, and it's kind of a totally different track, but I was always taught you take your income for the last 3 years, okay, and you get the average income that you've made, and then you go 2 times your average income is the amount of primary that you should spend on your primary residence, right? And I see a lot of people get into this and they get big houses and they've got all this. And I know somebody right now that we all know, landscaping bill, $2,600 a month, has 11 air conditioners. Okay. Right. Their electric bill is $5,300 a month. Okay. Now, yeah. And this person makes millions of dollars and I get it. But like, remember that, like, when you're starting out, 100,000 doesn't go that far. $1 million really doesn't go that far. Stack the cash, stay super humble, keep your expenses super low personally so that you can go, and it's going to make building your portfolio so much faster because you can put more money into those things and turn those money, right? Henry, you do a great job of really explaining how to get in, put your money in, buy really good discounted properties, and then get your money out and recycle that for other deals and other deals and other deals. So it's tough to do.
There are methods of investing that you will learn that will allow you to access some of the capital that your real estate portfolio will allow you to have because you bought the good deals, because you bought the cash flow, you'll be able to access some of that capital through different methods later on. We're not saying this is just, this is a wash. You're just going to be broke when you buy rental properties. No, there's access to money, but don't just think you're going to live off of your $200, $300, $400, $500 a month off of a property. You've got to build that, but the benefits of that come through different means.
I love it. Yeah. Henry, real estate deal maker out today. Do they just go here to the Bigger Pockets, or can they get it on Amazon? Where?
Amazon too. You can just type real estate deal maker into Amazon. You can snag it there. Awesome. Bigger Pockets, this link right here, biggerpockets.com/dealsbook. If you buy it on Amazon, leave me a review. That would be super helpful. That way other people will see that it's amazing and want to get it as well.
How can people just be in your world, Henry? How can they be around you?
Come shoot me a DM on Instagram, man. I'm at the Henry Washington on Instagram. Send me a message, say hi, comment, post, make sure I see you, man. I give all kinds of free information away on Instagram. Like, it's just come hang out.
Yeah, you're incredible. You're the best. Thanks, Henry. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Peace, bro.
Take care.
Awesome.
Thank you, bud.
I bought 20 of the books. We're going to be giving them out in our little giveaways here.
I'm ordering mine right now.
Yeah. You got it right now,
buddy.
That's it.
Get him.
That's it.
Get
awesome.
Him.
Get him.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Awesome.
Later.
See you, Henry.
Later.
Well, we've got
solid dude.
We're now to the part of our show where we're going to put up some of these ridiculous properties that cost 10 grand in just operating costs a month. And we're going to see what the audience thinks. So if you'll join me at the board, Raf, we'll see what we got. Wait. So this segment of the show is called Which Would You Rather? Which would you rather own? Okay. We've got number 1 over here. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. A brand new build. I feel that front door has to be 12 feet tall. You've got a nice roundabout driveway, parking in the back. There's something, something that's uncommon with a lot of houses is not seeing the garage in the front of the house. I have it in the front of the house, but if I had it my own way, I would probably put the garage somewhere else. Next, we've got this beautiful estate. It looks like it's surrounded by a lake. I would say that's a lake over an ocean, considering it has beautiful pine trees, beautiful kind of wood shingle roof there. We've got this. This looks fun. This looks like a nice party house with a sunken gazebo and open, more of a kind of new age modern look to it, a modern farmhouse. Yeah, it's got that style. And then you've got this one. This is kind of the dark horse. You're out there. I don't know if you can just push this thing into the middle of the river or lake or whatever it is, but guys, put in the chat, which would you buy? Which one really hits you? Is it number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? Just curious. I always like thinking about big properties, but when I look at them, I also, as a 42-year-old man, I'm like, that's a lot of expenses to clean and landscape. Yeah, exactly. I want to, maybe next week we'll do the penthouses that are like 2,000 square feet, but worth as much as these. So put in the chat here if it's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. While we're doing that, we're going to give Raph an opportunity to throw some darts for some giveaways. The second giveaway of the show is going to happen right now. Now, Raph, I don't know if you want to do this, but I threw it from the back end of this carpet. Okay. What? It was, I threw it. It took me like 7 shots. Really? All right. It was not easy to do it. We hopefully we have enough time and enough darts. But guys, as you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, let us know which property you think is the absolute best. Let's put it over here. Luke, 1 is here. 2 is this beautiful estate. 3 is back here, a nice modern farmhouse. And number 4 is I don't know. I feel like it's a bachelor pad. Maybe not. I feel like this is like, the hedge fund bro.
Floating barnuminium.
Yeah. Floating barnuminium. There you go.
Drunk, you had an idea.
Again, guys, as Raph is throwing, we're going to be giving away a hoodie for the top, a classic TTP for the middle, and today we've got the 90s style Trapper Keeper complete with the TTP lead sheet pad. So, Raph, go ahead, buddy.
Killing it with the Trapper Keeper.
There we go. Yes.
That was it.
Oh. All right. That's it. Who is this guy? He's unconscious. That's awesome. Absolutely incredible. So what do we got? We've got, let's go back. Do we have a winner? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Couldn't have done it without Jonathan's energy.
3 by a landslide. All right.
I had 3.
3 by a landslide. I get it. I think 2 is awesome. I really do. But that looks like a whole bunch of cleaning bills. Yeah. Number 3 feels open, inviting. You could tell that, like, I don't know if that's the patio right there, but it's got an outdoor kitchen, which is really cool. And yeah, that's awesome. There you go. Yeah, Raph's been practicing for sure.
All week.
And I have to drink so much water.
All week.
It's 110 degrees in Phoenix today.
Yeah.
110. Not only that, but like all the trees are going bananas with all the pollen. So I like have to spray this like nasal spray stuff for Flonase, right? For the allergies, or my eyes look like I was up all day just smoking a bong. You know what I mean? Like they're just red and itchy and all puffy.
Yeah.
So yeah, 110 degrees and all the pollen released all at once. So
we hit 113 yesterday. I think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. So welcome to Phoenix. It's paradise. 6 months out of the year. 7 months out of the year. I say, absolute paradise, beautiful golfing, beautiful mountains, great hiking. But a lot of us spend a lot of time up in the mountains and or in the beach, Rocky Point.
Yeah.
Sea of Cortez. We got to go. That was a really great trip. I'm ready to go.
We're taking way too long in booking that.
Dude, if you guys have not jet skied in the ocean in Mexico, you are not living. What are you doing with your life?
Exactly.
Right?
What are you doing all this work for?
There's a bunch of dudes walking around selling cheap sunglasses. You throw on those like bro style, I don't even know what you would call them. Not, the visor style.
The macho
man.
And
then you jump on a jet ski in the middle of the Sea of Cortez. Yeah. Nothing's better. You will laugh harder and scream harder and have more fun than anything else. It's absolutely incredible.
I was a 6-year-old kid when I was.
Guys, we've got Hugh Boy coming up. Incredible story. $1 million business, closing $100,000 months, month after month after month. Didn't speak English till he was 16.
Wow.
16, was very somewhat insecure about it, but just pushed through it, and then made a tremendous amount of cold calls, built his business from that. And then he started going after real estate agents and cold calling and doing all sorts of amazing things. So it's really, really, really great to have him on. We'll bring him on here in just a second. But let's go back real quick, guys. This is the TTP Master Lead Sheet. I think it's really important, Raph, speak to this because you're the master at this. The 4 different personality styles. I break it down different. I think you have a different verbiage for it, but I've got amiable, expressive, driver, and analytical, and following up with them is different based on the way that they want to communicate, right? Yeah. Analytical, we're talking numbers. Amiables, we're talking feelings. Expressives, we just said a lot of time for those lead follow-up calls. And drivers, you got to get to the point. Yeah. What would you add to that?
No, it's 100. I mean, that's 100% true, especially with drivers, right? Usually, if you don't understand the profiles or the behaviors that sellers, we all have, we're all algorithms. But if you don't understand that part, you're going to take people as being rude, they're being, short with you and whatnot. That may not be the case. It's just the driver that you're talking to. And then if you happen to be a driver, for example, and you're communicating that way to somebody who's amiable or steady, right? You have to slow down your conversation and give them time to feel comfortable with the decision that they need to make.
Yep.
So there's a lot of variables that go in there. So to kind of recap, straight to the point of drivers, for expressives or interactives, you want to make sure that you're relatable. They want to do, they want to have fun they want to like the people that they're doing business with. For steadies or amiables, you want to make sure that you give them enough time to process and feel good about the decision. Mm-hmm. The numbers and all that stuff, they make sense and whatnot, but they need to feel good about the decision. For analyticals, it's got to make sense.
Yep.
Right. They don't need to feel good about it if it makes sense. So
awesome.
So yeah,
guys, with that, let's welcome to the show Hugh Boy. Hugh, how are you?
Hey good, guys, how's it going? Good to be here.
Great to have you on here. Where do you live?
I am in Athens, Georgia right now, and have been here for the past 5-6 years. So
awesome. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Vietnam. Came here in 2012. Was 16 at the time. Like you said before the show, didn't know anything, didn't know the culture, didn't speak the language, couldn't understand references. So that's kind of was my background. 12 years ago, it's crazy to think how fast things can change.
Well, it's amazing how fast it goes when you talk to a tremendous amount of people every single day about buying their house.
Yes, correct. And I'll say I owe everything that I have right now to this business, because back on when I was graduating college and everything, I actually my bank account, I have $10,000 into my name. And now, upward of, in net worth, up to millions. So that's couldn't have done it with such a short amount of time, without this business. So this is everything.
When did you start?
I started in 2020. Actually, I started reading books in 2019. It took me a whole year to even do anything about it. It's just stuck in that, hey, I'm going to read. And then it took me a whole year before I get started in 2020. So.
And in 4 years, you've built it up. $1 million net worth.
Yep.
Plus.
I got to $1 million about 2 years in. And right now I'm sitting between 1.8 and 1.9.
How'd you do it?
Just the real estate, building equity over time, talk to people buying houses. And I was kind of lucky at it. I attribute a lot of this to luck as well. I bought houses during, the boom where 2021, 2020. That's when I didn't even know that I don't like rental. I just started with rentals. I buy a bunch of properties when I first started out. Looking back now, that's a great time to buy. And I wouldn't do the same thing right now if I were to start again. But it just happened. I made, the choice to buy properties, and at the time just happened to be lucky with the timing. Interest rate was great, so I keep those property up to now, and they all appreciate pretty much a lot. And the great thing is, even if they don't appreciate, because of the way we do business, we buy the property at discount anyway. So like even now, let's say if the market doesn't go up for another 3 to 4 years, if you buy something at 20, 30%, 40% discount, then you still have that equity from day one already. So that's a great thing about this business. You get equity right from the start.
That's the whole point.
That's
right?
what Henry was talking about too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing now to find deals?
It's a whole mix between off-market, direct-to-seller, and direct-to-agents. I would say it used to be 50-50, but now it's like 80-20. I'm 80% direct-to-agents and 20% direct-to-sellers. But we might change that with the PPC coming in. I talked to your team not too long ago, so we'll have it running in a few months.
All roads lead to pay-per-click, brother. I love it. So how are you reaching out to the agents?
So I used to do it myself. So I used to be the one who called the agents. I have my KPIs, 20 new agent per day, kind of make like 5 ops per day. So that's really my KPI for the past, I would say, year and a half. And now it's come to the point where now I don't have time to call the new agents. So I'm hiring a guy to help me with that. They call the agents, they build the rapport. So he would work the new agent all the way from like when our first point of contact until like when they actually send me a deal a couple months down the road. Then it's going to get to me and I'm going to close the deal with those agents. So
what do you say to these agents when you call them?
I just say, hey, my name is Hugh. I'm looking to buy a few houses in this area. I saw that you're a realtor. Can you help me out? They'll say yes, and then kind of say, I'm buying ugly houses, something that needs work. You can write the offer for me and keep books out of the commission. If it's your listing, do you have anything coming up that I can take a look at? And then 90% of the time it's going to be a no, but then that's when you put them into your system and you text them every 2-3 weeks. And then it usually, like, I didn't like this agent that I reached out to in 2022 and I don't do a deal until like 3 months ago. So it hits a myth. It can take a long time to have that agent from the way you first talk. That's why you got to talk to like so many different people, because like the volume is everything in this business. You cannot just rely on 1 or 2 agents. You got to have like 1,000 of them.
That's a long follow-up too from 2020. Are you do you stay on that follow-up? Like, for example, in that particular case, have you been texting them like every week, every month, or
every 30 days? Every 30 days. 30 days. And then and then just text them until they respond with something. Usually I would say it take at least like 3 or 4 months before they bring me something that actually worth looking, because most of the time they're just going to say, hey, here's this deal. It's either from a wholesaler or like an MLS deal that they saw from somebody else, and you have to explain to them that, hey, I don't want these. I want something that hasn't hit the market. So it's going to take at least 3-4 months to get an agent from like the first conversation to when they actually produce something fruitful is going to be that time frame.
What do you text them?
Just, hey, this is Hugh. Just want to check in with you. You have anything coming up? Just something really simple. It's like brain dead simple. It's like less than 10 words in a text usually. And that's all it takes, because it's just a matter of like doing it consistently over time. So
now, are you like literally texting them, or do you have software?
I do have software, yeah. So this is like a drip campaign where it's going to text them every so often, and whenever they respond, then that's going to be when the system stops texting, and I'm going to get notification to respond to them. So I think my work has to involve with like responding to them when they respond to me. If they don't respond to me, then the system just keep texting them until they do.
Love it. And is there any of them that you're like real close with, that you text on it like from your phone, that you meet like with, that you send them like closing gifts, you send them I don't know, an Amazon gift card after, you know what I mean? Like, do you have any homies that are like, do they become friends? Or
they do become friends. Yeah, like over time, you start to see like the agent that consistently send you deals. You start to recognize their name. And my hack is I try to add people on Facebook. So like whenever I text them, I would add them on Facebook. This way they see my face as well. I post on Facebook twice a week, so like they always see my post, and sometimes I see their post as well. So like it helped with making like, instead of me just being like a stranger from nowhere with no face, I try to put a face to a name whenever I can. And it's funny because there's an agent that we have done 3 deals with so far. Like it's all like 10K, 12K deal. Never even met her in person at all. I didn't know what she looked like outside, but we still do deals. So like this business is great because you can be literally anywhere in the world and you can just do it. I actually went back to Vietnam for 3 months, and we had the best 3 months ever because I'm not physically have to be here, so I don't go on appointments. I don't spend time, going around showing buyers. We actually pay people to go do those activities, and that's when my business really take off because I'm forced to do that. I'm forced to like scale, and yeah, that's what happened.
You're going back this summer, right?
Yeah, I'm going back in 2 weeks. So it worked the first time, so like why not try it again?
I love it.
I don't know what it is about taking some time off, man. Like you take time off and then you start getting calls, you start getting deals, you start getting like things just kind of click. I feel like that friction and energy that we sometimes have towards a business kind of fades away because we're enjoying life, and then things line up.
Well, Jackie, right? Yeah. My lead manager, she at the beginning of the year, she's like, I need to talk to you about something personal. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I need 21 days vacation time a year. And I was 21.
Like, it's very specific.
I was like, what? No, but I was like, she was like, I really need it. We need to be like, because Jeremy's her husband. Jeremy's our disposition manager. So it's they call it a 2-for-1. They get paid like it's 2 for 2, but they're like, we're always thinking about it. We're always involved in it. We're always comping properties. We're always selling properties. We're always solving problems. We're always setting up the systems. We just need to unplug.
Yeah.
It's like, fine. So they went to Hawaii for 10 days. Right. And I was like, don't answer your phone. Don't look at your emails. Don't do anything. We had a $400,000 month. You know what I mean? like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and they're like, oh, we need to go out of town more often type of thing. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean?
It happens.
But there is something to be said about that. There's something to be said, as long as you have your systems in place and as long as you've gone through your hustle season, as long as you've got the right people to cover the transactions that you got going on. Cause that's the tricky part, right, Hugh, is we've got all of these people counting on us, not just our company, but the sellers are counting on us. Our buyers are counting on us. If we're closing on deals, the lenders are counting on us. Our tenants are counting on us. We've got these things that are always kind of, nagging in the back of our head when we're trying to like totally unplug. As long as you have backups for those type of things, then you're set. And sometimes you find you can really set up better processes when you can just step back and be hands off.
Yeah, like you're saying, I mean, you get forced to develop these things every time you step away from it. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think it's the point, right? It's not just the money, it's the money and the time. So
why is your voice so sexy today?
I don't know.
You're like just in the zone. What is
I have a sexy voice. Yeah, I nailed that thing on the first dart.
You're like in zen right now. You are so freaking zen right now. Are you feeling it, Hugh?
He's on point. Yeah, he's on point for sure.
He is definitely on point. So so you go to Vietnam for basically the whole summer, right?
Right. Yeah.
And are you still you're still working remote? Are the hours the same? You're working kind of like
No, I'm working the same. It's gonna be night shift though. Like it's Vietnam and here is 12 hours difference. So I'm actually working from like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. local time because I gotta match that hours here. But I think the beautiful thing is because I'm further away. Like I can only do stuff on the phone, so I'm not gonna run around taking photos. I'm not gonna run around like talk to like the county. Like I rely on my team to do it, and I feel like if you have a really good skill set, like your skill set should be spending time on the phone. And I used to be pretty frugal, so I try to save on every dime I can. Like I wouldn't pay anybody to take photo. I'm doing it myself, save like $75. But now thinking about that, it's so silly. Even when we have to double close, I would pay somebody to go to those double close, sign on the document. It saved me 2 hours literally every closing. So like now I don't even go to closing anymore.
Let me ask you this: do you fly first class to Vietnam?
No.
Come on.
But that's on the goal. Yeah,
I'm going to challenge you. Like I want this to be your last flight ever that you don't go first class.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And by the way, you can have most of that paid for by putting all your expenses on your business credit cards.
Yeah. And
right?
even I think that's great because we have such a good year. I mean, if I don't use it, I'm gonna have to pay taxes anyway, so I might as well write it off, and it's gonna be at least like a 30% discount because of the tax saving, anyways.
Well, Jamil Damji gave me permission. He's like, I will not fly unless it's first class. So I was like, okay. And it's just one of those things where it's just a very specific experience where you really feel wealthy. You know what I mean? Like you feel like I've got some nice things, but I'm not a big, mansion or cars or, too many fancy trinkets. But first class is I will splurge on that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
On.
Yep. Right so that's my challenge to you, Hugh.
Okay. Noted.
Never take another flight unless it's first class.
Yes, sir. We'll do.
Awesome. So give some advice for people starting out, Hugh. How do you start really building up the momentum when you're getting started out?
Yeah, I think if I were to start out, like it's really easy to get discouraged. So I think the most important thing is to have like a group or a tribe that you can relate to. I feel like I'm kind of lucky in a way that I get used to the hustle, so I can muscle through my 9 to 5, and then during 5 to 10 I can still work on my side hustle. But that's not for everybody, and I feel like if you do all that by yourself, like the chance of not getting through it is pretty high. And when you feel down is when you need the group to be around. You need to go to talk to somebody. You need to talk to a mentor or like somebody in the community that's doing the same thing. That to me, that's always lift my spirit. So like, I mean, we know what to do. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just talk to more people and you get deals. But then like the thing that prevents most people from doing it is giving up too early. And I feel like without a community, it's extremely easy to give up.
100%. Listen, nobody's going to understand what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like your family's not going to, your friend group, the people you grew up with. I mean, unless they're in the business. Listen, I've been around real estate agents since 2004. They don't know what we've got going on.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
They don't know anything about vesting. They don't know anything about creative finance. They don't know anything about assignments. They don't know anything for the most part. And so you got to be around people that really understand this. You got to make friends in this group. You got to join. That's the whole point of joining mentorships and coaching. Raf's got it. I've got it. Henry Washington has it. There's incredible things. Andrew Lucas, who's coming on after Hugh here, is helping people that with the installment method. Right. He's in South Carolina. And so he's going to be joining us here soon. So you got to be able to do that. By the way, Hugh, Sultan's got a $300K deal for you. So
all right, there we go.
How can he get a hold of, how can you guys connect?
I'm going to read my number right now. 706-981-9632.
Somebody put it in the chat, please. Say it again.
706-981-9632. Give me a shout and I'll help you out.
Awesome. There you go, Sultan. Go ahead and connect. Hugh, thank you so much for being on here. Thanks for being part of the Rhino Tribe. Thanks for being such an incredible example of really making this happen fast. You know what I mean? I mean, in 4 years, 1.8 million in net worth. I mean, incredible. Guys, he came here at 16 years old. 16 years old. Plopped in the middle of the United States, doesn't know the culture, doesn't know what's going on, and has grown and adapted and had that entrepreneurial spirit. Isn't that crazy? Awesome. Your story is incredible. Hugh, thanks for being on here, bud.
See you guys.
See ya.
Keep it up, bro.
That is awesome. That is crazy.
It's an amazing story.
Guys, reach out. If you're in Georgia, definitely reach out to Hugh. He's incredible. His phone number is right there. Sultan, make sure that you guys connect, and hopefully we can ring the victory bell on a deal that you guys have done together, which would be really, 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 really cool. So, yeah. Are you talking and coaching many people in South Carolina?
I have a few students in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, how can people find out about your coaching?
I'm pretty active on social, so if you need to reach out or want to reach out, it's Rafael Cortez CEO on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM. REIWholesaling.com is also the website where I have info on the coaching program. So,
why do people join you? Why do they like you, Raf? What are they looking for?
I feel like I'm really good when it comes to systems and scaling stuff up. So I have this this conveyor belt, way of just lining things up in a matter that makes sense for students, I guess, and that's how they like it. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. Andrew's in the back. I don't see his camera on, so I don't know if he's having camera issues. Oh no, he's good. Here we go. Add him to the stage. Let's get going. Andrew,
what's up?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. You're in South Carolina. A lot of drama, a lot of turbulence, a lot of craziness going on. But somehow you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and doing amazing things. So talk to us about your experience, because listen, the reason I think it's so important for you to be on here is I think a lot of other states are going to adapt some of the laws and guidelines, restrictions, whatever, when it comes to wholesaling and assigning throughout the country. And we need to be prepared. It might not be for years. It might be less or more, who knows, but you're doing some awesome stuff. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brent. I really appreciate being here and getting to share kind of our experience with you guys' audience, because like you said, this is going to go, I think, probably everywhere before too long. As you've probably heard, wholesaling is now illegal in South Carolina, and we actually say that, and it's not clickbait anymore, because the law says the word wholesaling. I don't know if any other state has done that. Do you know if they actually put the word wholesaling?
Well, in Arizona, you have to disclose if you are going to wholesale a property.
Yeah. So
to both buyer and seller.
Yeah.
And so in South Carolina, they said even if you disclose it and you tell them what you're doing, you can't do it. They said you got to get a license, but then the licensing body said, well, we don't want you to actually do that. So it's now against the law. So we've been just inundated with our local community. We do run a local meetup, and we have a podcast and that sort of thing. And so when this happened, just everybody was like, what's happening? What's happening? More people showed up at the local meetups. Everybody's in the Facebook group. Like, how do I do this business? Is this possible? Does this mean, I'm out of luck? It's too late. I can't do it. And thankfully, that's not the case. You can still do this business, but it looks a little different. And I think you and I were talking about 2 years ago when the steam started getting behind this in our state. A friend of ours got a cease and desist order, and they said, you can't do this, and if you do, we're going to fine you daily, right? And not only did he get it, but then his employees got it, and it got a little crazy because they were tracking them through Facebook and when they're posting deals. And so he quit. He's like, I'm out of this. And that's when our team, because we have a team of home buyers here, I mean, this is our business, we said that can't happen here. We need to make strategic moves and build the business for the future. So we started what we do now, which is acquiring the property, buying it, going on the title, finding some way to own it, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
Yep. So how'd you do it? Do you have lenders that'll just give you 100%? Did you have to raise private capital? Is it hard money? Like, how do you structure it?
Yeah, so we started out. We already had some private lenders that were in our network. We've been doing this for a little while. So that was the first thing we said. Is I just put a quick email together and said, "Hey, lender, this wasn't a mass email. This was individual emails. This is what we're doing. This is why we're going to do it, and here's what we would offer for you as our private lender, which is you're secured on the first mortgage. We get insurance named with you named." And you're going to get a pretty good return, right? So depending on what the rates are outside of real estate is kind of where we go with our deals. So that's how we first started. Then, of course, we're looking at hard money Those are options out there. You can go get hard money, transactional lending, that sort of thing. But while we're doing that, the ideas of how do you just get the property without spending all of the money, without bringing it's $100,000 house. Can we get it without putting $100,000 out? And that's where creative financing, that's where you run into what you talked about earlier, the installment method, subject to all these other creative ways of getting your name on the title so you can then sell it. So we do all of that. Like every one of those has happened in the last 2 years. And what our team has done, and we actually broke it down this morning for our local group, is we kind of rank them of how we would prefer. So if we can buy it all cash, just be done, preferred, right? That means the lender or the seller is gone. I own the title, I own the deed, I have a lender, or it's my cash, whatever. There's no issues, right? But if that doesn't work, say I don't have the cash, I don't have the lender, then we drop down into some sort of owner financing. And we break that into, well, the preferred way to do that is real straight, how you've always heard it, owner financing, where they become the bank, the seller. Seller's the bank. I get the deed, I get the title, and they have a note and a mortgage. Cleanest, easiest. There's no issues going back and forth. They can't get mad at me for, staying on credit or whatever. Then we drop, if that doesn't work, we can't make those terms work. That's when we drop to a subject to type deal, right? Where it's not great. There's risks involved because their name is still on that note, the mortgage. But I've got the deed and the title. So I'm a little bit more in the driver's seat. However, all the issues that are coming down actually with Georgia, I don't know if y'all talked about that earlier, but with subject to is kind of becoming a hot topic there. And so that could be an issue.
Tell us about it. I'm not as familiar. Do you know?
No, not in Georgia.
Oh, wow. Yes. So, well, probably because South Carolina is taking all the limelight. But in Georgia, in Atlanta, mostly is where it kind of came out of.
Yeah.
The people doing subject to, what we know is subject to, which is I buy the house, I get the title and the deed, but the mortgage of the original owner stays.
Right.
Right. So people have now been, I guess, maybe because the market's changing or whatever, they have gone to the attorney general, a number of people, and said, I was lied to. I didn't know they were going to stay on my credit. They didn't pay it. So now my credit's been hurt. And so enough people have complained that they are actually writing or putting people, getting them in trouble and calling it fraud. And that's a really big word and a scary word. So obviously we don't really do much in Georgia. We do some in Augusta, but that is now kind of filtering in. That's probably going to be something we see coming through in disclosure. Like you said, disclose. But if somebody doesn't like it, they can come complain against you. So that's why subject to isn't as great as being true owner finance, right? We still are tied to that seller.
Yep.
And then our team will drop down to the one you mentioned, which is installment method. If subject to is not going to work, installment method, it's less desirable because we have more risk, meaning we don't get the deed. That seller still has their name on the deed. We go on title. So without going into all of it, we could still we could still sell the house, paint the house, change carpet, whatever, because we own it through title. But we don't actually have the full deed yet. So we're still connected to that seller, which means if that seller goes and does something stupid, like they can get a tax lien or drunk driving accident, right? All of their assets could get tied up, and we do not want to do that for a long time. Installment method is kind of a quick turn, get out of it before those variables. 90 days, 6 months is really kind of like our cap, where we would want to do it we'd have to do it in a quick turn.
But it really depends, and I love this this comment by Brandon: opposition provides opportunities, not shocked. People are still doing well in South Carolina. It's the absolute fact. But I think, Andrew, it really comes down to what is the motivation of the seller and what they're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, if they just want this property done, they just inherited it, they want a cash as is offer, that's who they're going to work with. You're not going to go in there and be like, oh, let me convince you to do this installment method, this is a better deal for you. You know what I mean? Right?
No,
or
not gonna happen.
Right. So I mean, you really have to figure out and pre-qualify what is the expectations of the seller and how best we can serve them.
That's right. And that's our team motto. It always has been, which is service first. I came out of the hospitality industry, and that's how we built this business, is serving our clients in our local community through not just figuring out how I can make the most profit, but we have to make a profit to be in business.
Yep.
We have to craft it and do the deal so that the seller is also happy and ready to sign. And you can check out our Google reviews for our home buying business, where they're just super excited, happy, hugging the whole team and loving it, because like what you just said, is we served to their needs, not mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that I think people really need to understand, is like, you're not going to convince people you can give them options depending on their situation, but if they want speed and convenience, they're looking for cash. Yeah. And that's and it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on who you're targeting. It depends on, what kind of marketing you're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it really comes down to the avatar at the end of the day, I think. What are the biggest pros and cons of the installment method?
So I think the biggest pro, let me just start there. The biggest pro is that you can, like what wholesaling really did for a lot of people, and it did for us 6-7 years ago, you could get in with very, very little money out of pocket, right? Yeah. So I can start the installment method, meaning I start it with my first payment. It literally could be $1. I wouldn't suggest it, but the contract, it could be $1. And at that point, you now can go on title and can own it and do what you want. So extreme example, very little up front. You can also, when you're going into it, you can get the deal moving a little faster with the installment method, because you can run title and do like a quick title search, especially if you have a connection with a title company or attorney that can do it. You can have that done in a few days, but your actual closing, doesn't have to be for 30, 60, 90 days. And in that period, you can actually go on title and be working to sell the deal, right? Yeah. So you can kind of expand your timeline if it works for the seller. The other really big pro of it is if you do want to keep these, and this is where we're not hearing a lot about this, because the wholesaling talk, but if you actually want to buy and hold these, which is what we've built our business on the back end, is you can go on title and then you go and do a refinance versus a purchase loan. And so you get all the good terms, much better terms. So
nice.
Do that, set that up, you own it for 3-6 months, whatever your seasoning might be, and then you can keep it. So getting into that really does save a lot on if you're used to doing it where you buy it and then you go get long-term financing, you're throwing a lot of fees at the bank. So you can kind of cut that out.
How do you explain this? That's what I can't wrap my head around, just because I haven't done it. But how do you pitch it to a seller that you're gonna do this installment method? Like, how does it make sense to them? And in what situations do you see this is the right strategy for these sellers?
Yeah. So the pitch, or the way I kind of break it down, because most people, when we start talking about this,
the explanation of it, not the pitch.
Yeah. You don't get it. Like, they just don't understand it. But the first thing I say is just like very similar to buying a car. If you bought a car using financing, you did not get the title, right? You got the car, but who got the title?
The bank.
The bank gets to keep that, right?
Yeah.
And they don't send that to you until you've paid your last payment, installment payment, right? So that's the kind of the relationship of how it works is, hey, I'm going to keep paying you, and you don't send me that deed, you don't sign it over completely until I've paid that last payment. What does that mean in the meantime for me as a buyer? Well, you know, Mr. Seller, when you buy your car, are you allowed to paint it? Yeah.
Yep.
Even though it has that title, you can paint it. You can even change the seats, put leather. And if you really wanted to, you could throw in a kitchen sink in the trunk, right? Right. So that's exactly what we're going to do here is I'm going to be paying you monthly. And during that time, I'm probably going to change the paint. I'm probably going to change the carpet. I don't know about kitchen sinks, but we'll see. And then when we're done, we're going to sell it and then you'll get paid off or refinance it. And then we'll pay you completely off. That's when you'll sign it over to us. Does that make sense?
Awesome.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this mostly like tired landlords or these owner occupieds that are moving? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I was going to get to. I skipped over is the tired landlord is probably the best target. If you were,
has to be. Yeah.
If you wanted to target somebody,
already,
even not tired, just old landlords, right?
Right.
If they've been doing it for years and years, they still like the mailbox money, right? They still like, and they're used to monthly payments, but they do not, like this has been my experience, is they do not want to do an owner finance where they sign the deed and all that. They really want to hold on to a little bit of control. And if you can work that deal, you're now giving them what they want, which is control and monthly payments, and you're going to get what you need, and then you can refinance out. And they get it. The mind of a landlord, especially one that's been doing it 20, 30, I just talked to a guy who's been doing it 45 years. They get it. They understand the math. They know why it works for us. And it's not like schemy to them. They're like, makes perfect sense. So they jump on board.
How can people find out about it, Andrew? You're teaching it, you're coaching it, you're helping with it. What are you doing?
So in our group, the Deal Finders Club, we're local. We're in South Carolina, and we kind of just teach a little bit of that to everybody. You know, it's kind of how do you want to get your deal done? We're all about trying to find the deal and then figure out what works best, right? So serve the seller. The installment method, you can go there. They have, you know, there's some particular coaches for that, but if you do want to work with us, where we do teach it as well, dealfindersclub.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Andrew, thank you so much for being on here, brother.
Man, I appreciate it.
Really exciting. I think that, you know, this is, you know, for the people that really understand how to raise the funds to close the deals, or get the transactional funding to close the deals, or build the relationships with the hard money lenders, and have this installment method or whatever other creative finance methods that are available. There's a ton. Are going to absolutely clean house in South Carolina and any of these other domino states that are going to fall, that are going to not allow assignments. And I'm just telling you, it's a smart thing to learn. It's a smart thing to put into your toolbox. We've been putting these things into our business and into our toolbox left and right. We've been closing on a tremendous amount more deals, and the people that can do deals outside of assignments are going to win huge, because I think 90% of the people aren't, and they're going to be gone.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Brent, real quick, is we had a team, right? I didn't want to be the one doing acquisitions all the time, and you got to pay for those people. And when we went from assignments to either buying it or installment method, like where we actually owned it, we went from a $12,000 assignment average up to $24,000 net after paying everything, So you double the income.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, Andrew. What was that site again? Where can they find you?
Dealfindersclub.com.
We'll put it in the chat. Absolutely awesome. Even Darren Bentley said, boom. So there you go, Andrew. Awesome.
That deep voice.
Well, great having you on here. We'll have to have you on more and more often. You're the best. Thank you so much for
Appreciate
talking on.
Thanks, guys.
See you, brother.
Awesome, guys. So much. Man, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
You're in like Zen, perfect sexy mode. I'm going
mode.
bananas. We got Chad Coulter coming up in just a minute. But before we do, guys, if you're getting value out of this and you are not subscribed, we're doing something special for the next couple months. The next 10 subscribe, well, not a couple months, but today, I guess, the next 10 subscribers that subscribe, we're going to put you into an online raffle, and then we're going to spin it all around, and whoever's name comes out, Alejandra's actually going to name her baby your name. So make sure that you subscribe. Isn't that right? Is that what you said, Alejandra? Isn't that what you agreed to? Alejandra's having a baby boy here in November.
Let's go.
So if you're not subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and you never know. You might have a legacy you never expected.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, my pleasure to help wrap up this show. Somebody that my business does not run without, somebody that has grown and developed and has closed so many deals since 2020. He came on. He was door knocking in Phoenix in July during COVID, and we recruited him to the team. And he's the absolute best acquisitions manager and part of our team with Ryan and Joshua. My pleasure to bring on Chad Coulter. Chad, what's up, man?
Bam.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
And see you, brother. You're looking good, and you sound great.
Just got done with the support call, so it's good to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, every Wednesday in the Rhino Tribe, Chad goes on live for 90 minutes, calling our leads live so that people can see and hear what somebody that's made my company millions of dollars sounds like, and does their and build their skills, and what do they say, and how do they adapt, and how do they open up conversations and set appointments. So it's awesome. Yep. Chad, absolutely. Lead follow-up. Let's talk inbound versus outbound. Let's talk about text and cold call leads versus PPL and PPC leads.
Yeah. You want to just start with like the different process on the follow-up? Well, with cold calling and texting, any type
you get into that. I'm going to text Dina back because we got to close that Tempe deal. So go for it.
With cold calling and texting, any sort of outbound marketing, the lead follow-up is going to be just more advanced, right? It's going to take longer as you kind of expect, right? You're reaching out to these sellers. So the timeline is going to be longer, right? It's going to typically be 90 to 120, sometimes 180 days. So a lot of the cold calling and texting deals that we've done that I've been a part of over the past 3 or 4 years, a very, very small percentage have gotten done within the first 30 days. So it's just really important to be able to try to tear the wall down of objections and uncomfortability that these sellers will give you when you reach out to them on the phone. With PPL and PPC, it's a completely different story.
Louise.
Yeah. Oh,
you there, brother?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep. There we go.
Okay.
I think we had a little bit of an outage there. Sorry, Chad. So the follow-up on the text and the calls?
Yeah. I mean, you look at, you dive into our Podio system, right? The deals we've gotten from cold calling and texting, the amount of follow-up, attempts, right? Calls, voicemail, text messages compared to the amount of calls, voicemail, text that PPC and PPL leads our deals have gotten. It's probably 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
Right.
Right. I think the deal we just locked up in Harvard, right? I showing your dad this on Friday when we were looking through it. The lead came in September and we just locked it up at the first week of June. So that's 9 months of follow-up. And there was you can see Ryan and I's, both of ours, our text string with this seller, and we both had probably 20 to 25 unanswered text messages between us and the seller. And then just randomly one day I called in the morning and he was ready to go. So you just gotta to strap in. If you're doing outbound stuff, you got to strap in. You got to just trust the process. That's really all you can say, right?
Is all of that manual texting, on the follow-up side, or are you guys automating that stuff?
So I do it all automated just through Google Voice. I've got a couple Google Voice numbers I kind of rotate through, and I try to personalize each text message in a sense that I send, because I think it looks better to a seller versus just getting that same text message over and over and over again that we all get.
Yep.
That's automated. And so I try to, I'll be creative with it, kind of pulling back a little bit just to try to get any sort of response from the cold calling and texting stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. PPL, PPC.
Yeah. Once you've gone through
The best.
Once you go through the cold calling and the texting follow up, you've been through hell, you've been through the ringer, and you can upgrade up into the inbound stuff. You're like slinging appointments. Like I'm in heaven right now, right? I mean, we're getting 30 to 35 inbound leads a week. And the goal is to set an appointment every single call, right?
Right.
Somebody, Stacy, Ryan, Joshua, and my quality of life has improved a ton. That's for sure, man.
I love it. And we just need far fewer leads.
Yeah. I mean, what we talked about earlier this week, I went from making like 50 to 70, 75 calls a day.
Say that again.
Yeah. 50.
How many calls a day?
It was between like 50 to 70, 75 sometimes calls a day.
Lead follow-up calls.
Yeah, like hand dials.
Right.
And usually was getting in contact with 20 to 22-ish sellers per day. And now it's down because we've shrunken our leads per week. I think it's down to like 35 to 40, but my calls are 3 times as long. They're better. I mean,
better quality.
Yeah, it's just incredible. The quality is just mind-blowing.
Incoming lead, how much time do you have? You get a text message, it's a lead. What happens then?
Yeah, the goal is for us, remember we have that video right on our website that it's pretty much Ryan kind of going over the process, what they can kind of expect from doing business with us or what they can expect as far as who's going to be calling. I think that video is 30 seconds long. And the goal is to be ringing their phone by the time they end that video.
Right.
And it's either me or Ryan, and now Joshua is also. That's the goal. And to get on the phone with them, that first initial call typically can take anywhere from 8 minutes to 2 hours and 15 minutes, depending on what happens on that phone call.
Well, those 2-hour calls, you're locking up that deal the first call.
Yeah, and it has happened. It has happened 4 or 5 times this year. So you get enough inbound leads, and you can trust your process and kind of be quick on your feet with the critical thinking skills, and ask the right questions. You can lock up deals on the phone within the first call. They don't even have to go anywhere else.
What are you saying? Like, how do you give the audience some tools that they can use? Because you don't want to sound like you have a deal breath. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you ready? Are you ready? Hey, are you ready? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the first, I don't know. I've done this so many times. I made so many calls. So I have a pretty good instinct on if something is there or not within the first couple minutes. And that's just finding out the motivation and the timeline. Those are the first 2 things I'm going for, especially on inbound leads, because they've made some sort of decision that they're interested in selling already before even getting on the phone, right? Because they're reaching out to you. So I'm trying to discover within the first 2 to 5 minutes why. Why are you selling? Why are you reaching out to me? And why you're interested in my services or what we can offer, essentially.
Yeah.
And then figuring out their timeline, right? Or, I think the question that we ask a lot is, a lot of the sellers that we work with are looking to close within the next 15 to 30 days. Does that work for you, Brent? Or are you needing more time? Talk to me. What, in an ideal world, what's a perfect scenario look like for you? And then you get them talking. And then once I kind of have a good outline of exactly what they're looking for and kind of what their goals are throughout this process, it's like kind of rapport building time. And then I start getting them talking about the house and all the updates they've done. And, how long did mom own the house? How long has it been in the family? And just trying to find points of what we have in common or things that I've maybe experienced in my life that I can kind of relate to their scenario. Or any friends, family, cities, just the smallest thing, right? I mean, the lady that Ryan locked up that's moving to the Chandler house, right? And the first 5 minutes we're on the phone, and she actually told me she was moving back to Arkansas. Well, that's where I was born. So right away, it was a talking point, right? And then within 5 minutes, she said this, and I'm not even kidding. You can go listen to the call. She's like, my mom passed a few years ago, and I try to talk to her all the time, and I asked her to give me some sort of sign, right, from up above that I should be dealing with somebody that is going to take care of us. And she's like, maybe this is just her telling me that sign. And later that day, I think 4 hours later, Ryan had it locked up.
Yep.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's pretty much motivation, timeline, condition, and then we finally kind of get into the price. And after the price, it's really getting to the nitty gritty of like, look, Brent, like if we can kind of get you the terms of what you're looking for today, are you ready to make a decision and put pen to paper, or are you kind of hoping to get a few different ideas, opinions, bids, or whatever? And then once I get all of that information, then it's either appointment time or it goes in right to the attempt to lock it up over the phone.
Yeah, let me interject there real quick. I feel like something really important is not getting mentioned, but you guys really genuinely care about the solutions for the sellers. I know Chad, I know Ryan, and I know that, you know, the way like them as human beings, right? They genuinely care. We all care about what we do. And I feel like that's one of the things that often gets overlooked. We have, you know, strategies and scripts and like things to kind of walk us through the conversation. But at the end of the day, for example, what that lady's feeling, it's not the script, it's not the conversation. She's feeling your energy in that deal and the fact that you care. And your tonality, right? Your the way that you're expressing yourself and carrying yourself through that conversation because you care. So I mean, it's a very important thing to highlight.
Great point.
So
yeah, I don't like to toot my own horn very much, but I feel like I do a pretty good job of kind of setting the tone, and am able to kind of adapt to all different types of sellers and situations on the phone. And I mean, we've gotten deals before where they've talked to the other big companies here in Phoenix. But those guys, all they're wanting to do is make an offer, and they're not willing to sit there and listen for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And you know, once you do that, and once you show them that you're a real person, like you said, you care, you just, I don't know, we've gotten a handful of deals just by doing that. So
love it.
I love it. Chad, is that a toaster behind you? What is that?
I'm sorry. My wife is on a Zoom in the office, so I still have the toaster out from making my peanut butter bagel this morning.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Chad gets up. What time do you get up in the morning?
You got to hit your macros.
Yeah, it's 5:30 is when the alarm hits. I'm out of bed by 6.
5:30. He's at 6. He's at the gym. He's
Or,
getting his swole on.
Yeah,
or running.
Or now in the streets, yeah.
Training for the half marathon?
Yeah, in San Diego in October. So
nice.
Awesome.
It's getting pretty hot though out in the morning. Getting pretty hot.
Yeah. Chad, you're the absolute best. The company doesn't run without you. Love you. Thanks for being on here, brother.
Dude, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother.
See you, bud. Yeah, it's building the relationships. It's building the rapport. It's being a real human being. It's not he has so much confidence in his ability to just ask the right questions and to really be curious. Be curious. I say this to my 7-year-old every morning, and you help me add to it, because I used to tell him be kind and confident, and then we went to a basketball game and you're like, and curious, and I was like, yeah, and curious. Kind, confident, and curious. Be kind, confident, and curious on the phone, right? If you have kindness, confidence, and curiosity on the phone, you're going to be a superstar like Chad. You know what I mean? And that's really his superpower with that, is he's not going on appointments. Chad does everything from home. He's doing everything from the phone. He's really built up those skills, but he's setting the appointments for Joshua and Ryan and my team to go on those appointments and close those deals. And so it's a team effort, and it's awesome. And I want that for everybody. And so follow these lead follow-up guidelines and tips and strategies. And I'm telling you, you're going to close more deals. Any final thoughts for the show?
No, I love it. I mean, it was a great episode. We went from strategy to policy to actually connecting with people. So don't sleep on all that stuff, guys. It's not just pretty things to talk about. It's the stuff that will make you money and change your life. So
bring it in. Shirt, by the way. Thank you. This is my my Joe Homebuyer official shirt, just in case I need to jump out on any of these appointments. You know what I mean? Guys, on behalf of Rafael and Luke and Matt and Alejandra and Alejandra's baby, we love you guys. We want you to go out there and take massive imperfect action every single day. And remember this: keep your house clean, protect your health, increase your value to the world, and you'll live a fantastic life. Love you guys. I'll see you next week.